This is really crazy, people. Its lawyers and CEOs say that the case against the SEC could end soon and in our favor, right? It's finally here after years of waiting. Of course, crypto experts are sure that the price of the XRP Ripple coin is going to go through the roof. Some people say it could cost as much as $2,150. It doesn't make sense. Let's break it down. You will be amazed by this movie. Nota bene, the long-running court battle between Ripple Labs and the SEC seems to be almost over after almost 5 years of legal trouble. The XRP community is feeling more and more hopeful because of recent events that point to a possible deal before the next deadline for status updates on August 15th. In December 2020, regulators went after Ripple for selling XRP as an unregistered security. This has since turned into one of the most important legal fights in the history of crypto. People in the crypto world are really excited, especially on X posts from influential people like Jack the Ripper. Will the SEC say today that the Ripple case is over? Some, like CryptoBuy, point out that Ripple dropped their cross appeal and the SEC is likely to do the same. These are not just idle tales. They show that a negotiated settlement is becoming more likely, a chance that has grown since Judge Analisa Torres' important decision on June 26th, which allegedly made it harder for the SEC to use the law to its advantage. Some experts say there is a 70–90% chance that Ripple and the SEC will reach a settlement before the middle of August. However, law experts are warning people to be careful despite the optimism. Mark Fagel, a former attorney for the SEC, gave much-needed background information and reminded everyone that while an update is coming on August 15th, SEC procedures don't move as quickly as social media. About 1 to 2 months pass after a big court decision before the agency makes a suggestion for enforcement. The 6 judges must then look over that suggestion and agree with it before any official settlement or dismissal is made. Fagel was honest about the doubt. It's all just a guess, he said. He told them not to take what they read on social media as legal proof and made it clear that the joint status report due in August is the only promise that is legally binding at this point. Still, if it turns out to be true, the fact that both sides have dropped their appeals is a strong sign that talks are well underway. This is a cautiously hopeful time for people who own XRP. The market is paying close attention, not just because the result could change prices, but also because it could change how US law treats digital assets. If Ripple can avoid an injunction and instead pays a fine that is said to be around $50 million, it might have a better regulatory base than most crypto companies in the country. A deal like this would not only back up Ripple's long-held belief that XRP is not a security, but it could also lead to relisting on big US exchanges, and to be honest, more institutional interest. Aside from XRP, the effects on the whole crypto world are, well, pretty deep. A Ripple settlement could change how officials look at utility tokens, which would push the SEC to make its rules more clear and consistent. This case has become a sign of the conflict between new ideas and rules, since Ripple chose to fight rather than give in to pressure from the government. That choice could be good for everyone in the blockchain community, not just people who own XRP. But still, nothing is certain. As both Ripple and the SEC get closer to a key law point, patience is still very important. Everything is still up in the air until court documents confirm a settlement. However, if this long fight ends in the next few weeks, it will be a first in history, one that could change how crypto is regulated in the US in the future. You think you know everything? Just wait until you hear what the top crypto analysts have to say next. I know you're not ready for this. This is more than just a bold prediction. They might change the way you think about the future of XRP. Even if only half of them come true, it could be one of the biggest comebacks in this field's history. I think Ripple Pumpkin said it best when they tweeted, "That kind of opinion isn't just emotional hysteria. It comes from the thought that XRP's usefulness, not just speculation, will one day make it worth its full price." Then there's the Manx post that went viral. Imagine waking up to find that XRP has gone up by $20 overnight. Your portfolio has grown to 7 figures, and the news is yelling about how the crypto reset is over. You look in your pocket, you're not just wealthy, you've been picked. It's the kind of dream situation that seems impossible, but is actually quite possible in a market known for violent turns around and historic rallies. Aside from memes and moonshots though, some of the most optimistic predictions come from people who work in the environment. It is said that Ripple's CEO has talked about a $21 trillion utility goal for XRP, in which RippleNet and on-demand liquidity corridors become the standard way to send money across borders. One well-known supporter of XRP did the math and found that if that dream comes true, each XRP could be worth $373. Also, don't forget Arthur Brito, who is one of Ripple's co-founders and the person who designed the core code base for XRP. Brito once said that XRP is designed for $10,000. This doesn't mean that it will reach that level of value today or even during this market cycle, but it does mean that the technology, supply chain, and global financial infrastructure could theoretically support it. That's not just hope, that's also design. Then there's Levi from Crypto Crusaders, whose latest video with a simple but important message made waves. Today, everyone should have at least 2,000 XRP. He's not saying that he is a business advisor. He's instead pushing what he calls strategic positioning, which is a chance to make a small bet on a big change. Levi breaks it down in a way that makes sense. This would mean that the market value of XRP would hit $1,976 per coin. It is crazy, but it's possible in theory. If XRP is used in a global economy based on tokens, he also tempers the vision by offering more attainable goals. For example, someone who owns 56 RP could become worth $100,000 if the price of XRP goes up to 100. In a world where trillions are made every day, that's not crazy. There is a lot of talk about digital currencies and tokenizing everything from real estate to the national debt. The case against the SEC is likely to end soon, and things are moving faster. If the law is clear, it could bring in a lot of institutional funding. If regulators give the go-ahead, XRP might finally be able to fight fairly on the world stage. Many people think that's when it could really take off. So the numbers being thrown around, 19/8. It's not really a question of whether XRP can get to those levels. The question is whether the world is ready for what will happen if it does. Isn't that crazy? It gets better though. Now let's talk about Ripple's real secret weapon, its relationships around the world. Ripple has been working behind the scenes to make deals that could change the whole financial system while everyone else is focusing on charts and news stories. I know you're not ready for this. What's about to happen could change the way you always think about XRP. So XRP's story isn't just about guessing the price or going to court. It's about a change in the way money goes around the world that is happening in the background. Ripple's CTO recently confirmed what a lot of people inside the company have been thinking for a while. XRP and the XRP ledger are being added to banks' payment systems all the time. This isn't a small change, it's a seismic move that could make trillions of dollars available around the world. Imagine a world where sending money between countries is fast, clear, and cheap. Ripple is setting up XRP to be the world's backbone. The fact that XRP is neutral is what makes it stand out. XRP Dragon said it best, XRP is not tied to any one country or government, it's the link between them. XRP is a powerful bridge asset because it can easily connect different currencies, stablecoins, and tokenized assets in a world system that is becoming more digital and tokenized. Unlike traditional banking, which is limited by national lines and rules, XRP can make transfers around the world very quickly and easily. There are rumors coming from Europe that this trend is getting even stronger. A crypto influencer named Amali wrote recently about the Frankfurt Stock Exchange, which is said to be proof that Europe is testing the digital euro on the XRP ledger. It's true what they say. If it's true, it means that a large institution backs XRP's technology. Europe is well along in its plan to digitize its money and banking system, and picking the XRP ledger for this kind of project would be a huge sign that Ripple's mission is right on track. When digital currencies from central banks like the digital euro are combined with XRP, it could change how money moves between countries. It means that states and financial institutions not only see how useful XRP is, but they're also ready to build on its foundation for important national financial projects. For people who own XRP, this could be the start of a price surge like no other, making the token an important part of the new financial environment that uses digital money. The year 2025 looks like it will be very important. As more banks start to use XRP, the idea of Europe's digital euro running on the XRP ledger grows, and Ripple's relationships grow. It's becoming easier to see how XRP will be widely used. The price of XRP could go up if it really takes off around the world. This isn't just guesswork. It will become an important part of how money moves around the world. When XRP goes from being a digital asset to a global service, it will have huge effects. Its role as the plumbing of the new financial order means that its market cap would have to be very large to support such broad use. The closer we get to this infrastructure being used, the more stable XRP's price becomes, going beyond hype and into the realm of real-world demand and use. We also can't forget about the whales. Many millions of XRP coins are being moved and stacked behind the scenes, sending strong messages to the market. This is a very strong sign that the market is going up.